Kojuro. Oh, you didn't log in.
Oh, damn it. Ah! Alright. I thought I was missing something. Hang on, let's leave this party.
What do you mean? I gave you the controller. You left SharePlay.
Yeah, I have to log back in with the Japanese account, remember?
Oh, I forgot too.
I thought that's what you were telling me to do!
No, I was telling you to freaking press start.
Yeah, you told me, oh, you're not in, and I was like, oh shit, right, the thing! Hey! So I did some reading between sessions, so I actually know some of these characters slightly better.
Ah.
So I'll take Takeda Shingen.
It's Circle. That's actually more... That actually does make sense, because Sarutobi Sasuke was Shingen's ninja.
Yeah.
Well, actually, Sasuke was Sanada's ninja, but Yukimura was a servant to Shingen. So, close enough.
Yeah. So Takeda Shingen was supposed to be like one of the most legendary badasses of the era, right?
Takeda Shingen was a legendary badass, also really good at tactics.
Right.
And him and Kenshin, Uesugi Kenshin, were the two big dudes. They were the old guards, yeah.
They both hated each other, right? Him and Uesugi Kenshin.
Yeah, they like out of all of the rivalries from this game, that's the realest one.
Okay, let's not start off with a boss fight so I can learn how to play Shingen. So what I was reading was Yukimura is commonly associated with Takeda Shingen, but in actuality, they pretty much never worked together because Shingen was already dead by the time Yukimura was doing most of his work.
Yeah, Masayuki, I think. I always forgetting Masayuki or Nobuyuki was Yukimura's father. But
something like that.
I know that one of the either Masayuki or Nobuyuki were either his freaking brother or his father. I think Masayuki was his brother and Nobuyuki was his father. But yeah, so I think Nobuyuki served under Shingen until Shingen's death, and Yukimura was like 6 when he died.
Impressive if Yukimura fought alongside Shingen.
Yeah. And then stuff just happened from there. And actually, if you remember in Yukiden, they actually do touch on this because Nobuyuki talks about Shingen to Yukimura and then turns into Shingen, but Shingen is never actually present in person because he's dead. And then what else? Well, I'll assume if you get up on Yukimura, then you'll know that freaking Sasuke was part of the legendary Sanada 6.
No, I didn't read that much up on Yukimura. I was kind of looking over like each of the characters, you know.
Yeah. But yeah, yeah, go ahead.
I also tried to relate it to Total War because that's what I know, you know.
Yeah.
And fun fact in that game, Takeda Shingen is the best general in the game, at least until I guess Oda Nobunaga shows up, because he has a trait that makes everyone scared shitless of him.
The guy was called the Tiger of Kai for a reason, dude.
Yeah. He also has the best cavalry in the game, just flatly the best cavalry in the game.
Yes, Takeda Cavalry was very famous for being really good. Like,
alright.
I think Date Cavalry was a close second after a while, but if you're talking about cavalry in the Sengoku era, then Takeda Cavalry is probably the best you can get, at least from what I gather.
Alright. What else was there? Oh, I read a little bit about how Koei does it with samurai warriors.
Oh yeah.
And they're real weird about it because they use the American naming conventions. So it's not Takeda Shingen.
Yes, I hate that they use the American naming conventions because it freaking trips me up with the Chinese names that I don't know.
I mean, it's one of those things where like it's inaccurate to how it would have been at the time, but it's more accurate to modern Japan because modern Japan uses American naming conventions. Ah,
But yeah,
weird how that shit changes with time.
yeah.
What was the other one? Oh, I saw that some of those characters here that are kind of weird and minor are very important in Shogun. Like, the Otomo. Like, Otomo's not very important here, he's just the Zavi fetishist, right?
Yeah.
What else was there? Shimatsu, right? Shimatsu's fairly important here, isn't he?
Shimazu?
Yeah.
Yes. He's the guy I keep calling Shimano. Yeah, he is Miyamoto Musashi's grandfather in this.
Okay. In Shogun, Shimatsu is one of the most frequently picked starting locations because they just start off on Kyushu alone with Otomo. What else was there? Trying to think of what else I learned that was actually something that would, like, be pertinent information. I was about to kill him, you kill-stealing fuck!
You don't
Stop
need that.
flying, asshole.
No.
Damn it.
Also,
I thought you'd listen.
Also, because I have Sasuke's special freaking fighting style thing, I just have shadow clones attacking people when I'm not.
Nice.
Yeah. Like, if you check if I run, then it sends out a shadow clone projectile that hits people.
I like the flying. The flying is great.
Yeah, the ninjas in these games are actually very fun to play as. Mainly because of the flying. Both Kasuga and Sasuke can fly because they learned how to ninja in the same town.
Ah, okay.
Which makes sense. Like that's an artistic thing that they did, but that's because Kasuga was completely made up by Capcom, and Sasuke. Sasuke is a mythical character that probably didn't exist, so they can do whatever the hell they want. Like we only know that he might have existed, and that's about all we know about the guy.
And Kasuga is supposed to fill in for another character, right? Someone's wife or something?
No, not a character, a whole class of people. Because the Uesugi were famous for having a large ninja network. So Kasuga is just supposed to represent all of the ninja that the Uesugi employed.
Okay. I was no help for this fight.
That's fine.
Eh.
You're learning the character.
Oh, I learned that, Oda Nobunaga, the monks that he killed, were of the Aiko Ikki.
Ah, yeah.
Which, in Total War Shogun, the Aiko Ikki is an entirely playable separate faction.
Yeah, I remember that. I also own Shogun 2. I think you might have bought it for me. Or it was free, I don't remember.
It was free. I did not buy it for you. I'll probably end up having to buy it for Pink, though, if Pink actually starts liking Total War. Because, like, Shogun's one of the best.
Yeah, it would be interesting to play against y'all, because I don't know what the hell's going on.
Shogun 2, I think, is probably one of the best ones to learn, because the only artillery isn't very good in Shogun 2, but everything else is good. So if you're a cavalry man, there's good cavalry. If you're a melee infantry man, there's good melee infantry.
I also need to look into performance mods just to make sure that it can run smooth.
Have you already got set to the lowest graphics?
Yes. I mean,
there may be a performance mod.
Like, I'll need to check again if it runs fine, but if it doesn't, then I'll need to look into performance mods.
Yeah. Oh, what was I thinking about?
You were talking about the Eco Key.
Right. So that's why some people think it was... That's why there's some people who are still sympathetic to Oda, despite the fact that he burned down all those temples, was because they were technically fighting against him.
But that time when they were like a disliked sect of Buddhism.
They were, but amusingly enough, the variety of Buddhism they believed in is now, like, by far the most popular variety in Japan.
Funny.
Yeah. Well, history's weird, man.
Yeah.
And their system of belief didn't even seem that crazy.
I forget what it is, but I did look into it at one point.
What else was there?
Oh, but I don't know why I thought I could skip the freaking roll.
Please tell me I have a new R2!
Not yet, no. You can check on the bar. Like next to your portrait, it should tell you if you have more new R2s.
Yeah, I see. They're filled with iron, which means that they're not.
Yeah.
The fucking cannonballs. I like that Shingen is so tough, he just takes a cannonball to the chest and he's slightly pissed.
Yeah. Shingen's BASARA attack is calling an airstrike, by the way.
Of course it is. I don't know, it'd be cooler if he called in a cavalry charge, though.
I mean, it's better than the old one, which is just, you know the... you know the Whirlwind ability in WoW?
Vermin ability?
Whirlwind.
Whirlwind. No, I don't.
There's the ability called Whirlwind in WoW, used by, warriors, where they just spin around.
Ah!
That was his old BASARA attack, from what I remember.
Well, here in this game, it's just a regular special move he gets.
Yeah, they tend to do that. Masamune used to be only able to go into wardens through his BASARA.
I see. It bugs me that Chosokabe is somehow wielding his anchor like it's a sword.
I'm fine with it. I just got used to it. It used to be weird, but now it's not anymore.
Time to gamble.
Did I turn that off again? Did you like it better when it was off? All right. He's dead.
And the gambling guy who's the final boss of this game is the actual Shogun, who is from the Ashikage Shogunate.
Yeah, Ashikaga Yoshitaru.
Yeah. And the Ashikage were shoguns pretty much ever since, like, before the Mongols invaded Japan.
Is it Heian? I forget.
Because there was another war that Japan had in, like, the late 1100s, which, that's what, if you've ever seen Shogun 2's Rise of the Samurai campaign, that's what that one is about.
Oh, yeah.
That, like, about as ancient medieval as Japan gets, and I think that's when the Ashikage took power.
I believe... I just wrote the freaking... the Ghost of Tsushima review, so I should know when the freaking Mongol invasion was. I think it was 1157.
Oh.
Something like that. There's a specific...
Let me pop open my copy of Shogun 2. Yes, I can run these things at the same time, game. Don't worry.
Let's go with Shimazu.
Okay.
Oh yeah, let's upgrade Shingen while you look that up.
Yeah. Alright. Oh, I saw the guy that flips between being calm and being crazy.
Yeah, Senno Rikyu, he was a big friend of either Yoshiteru or Nobunaga, I forget. No, Toyotomi, it was Toyotomi. Yeah, he was straight up just freaking killed. For being angry.
His whole thing was that he was like a diplomat, right? And they couldn't really make that much of a fighter, so they made, like, he was known for tea ceremonies and shit.
Well, the reason, you know the reason why he's freaking bipolar in this game?
Why?
Because he probably was in real life, because apparently he had these real gigantic mood swings where he would be completely normal 1 second and then just completely flip shit in the next. So, that's what got him killed. That's why Toyotomi had him had him freaking executed.
Nice. Are we fighting the Shimatsu?
Yeah.
Okay, I thought that was the Shimatsu flag. I recognize that from the games. Okay, so in Shogun 2, the Rise of the Samurai campaign starts in the year 1175.
Which makes sense to be the Rise of the Samurai, because that is around the time when they started switching over from the Tachi to the full-on katana. Also,
I see.
or like, but it's not when they started switching over. It's when the Tachi started getting remade, and then we would get like the thing is we had the Tachi, and then that wasn't useful enough. So then they made it a slight bit more curvy and called it the Uchigatana. And that wasn't curvy enough. So then they made it curvy, even curvier, and that's the katana.
I see.
And I'm pretty sure if you don't actually know what the name of the sword type that before the katana was, because Uchigatana is probably something like pre-katana.
Ha!
Because
you can get an Uchigatana in Dark Souls, and I always wondered why it was called that.
yeah, Uchigatana is the sword type between katana and Tachi.
Okay.
And the reason why I think it's probably called something like pre-katana is because a lot of times when adjectives, I guess, are added to words, they change sounds. So like, for example, with Kami. Kami is God, basically. Then you have Death, who is called Death God in Japanese. But when you say Death, bless you by the way. When you say Death in when you talk about the Reaper in Japanese, you say Shinigami. Which literally is just Shini is just death, and Gami is just coming with a changed starting sound. So
I see. What the hell is happening to you?
Xavi is sucking out my soul.
Okay. Alright, because we're on Kyushu. So, of course, he's at least partially involved.
He's everywhere.
Oh, okay.
This can happen anywhere. You know, it's not entirely related to the history of these characters, I suppose, but I really appreciate how on the Sengoku BASARA wiki, there's a whole separate thing of real references to real life or something like that, where they just list parts of the Wikipedia article, so you can learn about the real people as well.
The number one thing you should be doing when playing video game is learning. Are all the unique women for this chick's name is Lee, right? Lee Naotame or something like that?
Yeah, no, called Lee, I think.
Yeah, are all of her unique, like, are all of the elites replaced with women for her?
Yes, all of her army.
Oh. Ah, I didn't notice.
The men are just recruits that they're keeping safe because they were like Lee is, I forget whose wife, but she was pretty freaking cool, so that's why she's here. And the reason why all of basically all of these all of her generals and shit are women, because they're supposed to represent the warrior priestesses.
Ah, I see.
I don't know if she was a part of them or what. Probably not, but still, it's a good thing to show off because, you know, warrior women.
They were a thing at the time, though not as much as they were earlier.
Women could still pick up weapons. They just weren't in active war. Women were expected to defend the household while the men were at war.
Yeah, but earlier than the Sengoku Jidai, weren't like there a lot of women samurai?
Well, no, women samurai weren't really a thing. Like overall, these women aren't samurai; they are priestesses.
Okay.
Which is doesn't really make a difference because they knew how to fight. So,
and they are wearing very similar armor.
Yeah, they are very similar armor, but at the end of the day, it's a class distinction that Japan made, so I guess I'll honor it. But yeah, these are just warrior priestesses in the same way that warrior monks exist. And
yeah.
And Yeah, these women trained using Naginata. Which means that you don't want to mess with these women.
Yeah. What is
Oh yeah,
here?
it's Honda's wife, I think. It might be Honda's wife. No.
Or is it Honda's daughter? Doesn't Honda have a daughter?
Oh yeah, she might be Honda's daughter.
Huh. I guess it makes sense that Honda would produce that.
Yeah, it would make sense that Honda's daughter would be a badass.
Oh, we don't even get to fight Honda.
I mean, we do. I just killed her too fast.
Huh. Oh, while I was reading, even though Oda Nobunaga is always like, oh, the Demon King of the Seventh Hell or whatever, like, apparently that dude that makes people explode is actually considered, like, the most villainous person in the Sengoku war.
I mean, he is portrayed as more villainous, though. Like, Nobunaga is, like, mustache twirling, I want to take over the world villainous. That guy is, I am going to kidnap the people you love, torture them, and torture them until you give me your sword. Then I will also continue to burn down your village and kill you. So,
of course.
So yeah, I don't know. I'd say that he's portrayed as more villainous usually.
Apparently, the guy was a real dickhole in real life, I guess.
I still like. I even remember looking his name up, but I don't remember his name, and I still want to just call him Masahiro Sera.
I think his name was Matsuhide something.
It was Matsuhide, I believe so. You know, Hisahide. That's his name.
Okay.
Alright, Yoshiteru. Enough of you.
I also read that they cut out a very important individual from the war for these games because he's just not very popular with Japan.
Yes.
Which was the head of the Imagawa clan, who was like the first really impressive guy that Oda Nobunaga beat. But
yeah.
he's not looked at very kindly in Japan for one reason or another, so they left him out.
Did they not say the reason?
No, all it mentioned was like he was a really good he was really good at like logistics and banking and all kinds of stuff. Which that may be it, because I know like at that time wouldn't Japan have considered anything to do with business and money evil?
I mean, considering the people were starving, probably.
And what was I going to say? He was a very influential, very important daimyo, and like when he was going to fight Oda Nobunaga, like Oda was super the underdog. So everyone was amazed when he actually beat him.
Let me check, because it might be the guy who died in the first game.
Well, I think what I read was that they did put him in the first game, but they made him a complete joke.
Yes. Yes, then he's probably the guy I'm thinking of. Remember when last time I was like, there's this guy who is just the Japanese and period appropriate representation of the pompous asshole archetype. Yeah, he's one.
It always gets given to Yun Shao every time they retell the Three Kingdoms.
Yeah, then it appears that he might have been that. Who was he? Imagawa?
Yeah.
Yeah, Yoshimoto Imagawa. Let's wait for you to load in so I can check your model. Yup, the guy I was thinking of. So he does appear. He does appear in the game, and he is set. From what I remember of the series, he is supposed to be like this big ass dude, going up against Oda, but then, from what I remember, Oda just freaking like wrecks his army's shit, and he tries to run away but can't and dies. Did I skip his ending again?
Nope, it was just him and Ashikaga having a showdown, and it ended ambiguously.
Ah, okay.